from Crafty Witch Creations, and today I'm going to do a short little video, kind of a craft of me for the spring hop that's being hosted by Priscilla, oh goodness, at Release the Craftin. So with the spring hop, what we're all doing is making different spring related craft projects, and there's no really rule except for it has to be spring related, and then we're all going to post them on the same time on the same day, and then each person is going to link the next person in the hop. So it's kind of like a scavenger hunt. You have to watch the video to get the clue to see who's the next person in the hop. So it's a really cool idea, and I was really excited when Priscilla asked me to join. So what I decided to do was this little trifold tag. So I just took a piece of ivory cardstock and folded it in threes, and then cut the top of it off to make a shipping tag shape. Now I'm using this, it's a polka dot and like a zigzag stencil with my Tim Holtz Distress inks in various shades of blues, yellows, pinks, and greens. And the reason I did this combination of stencil and ink is because I felt it gave it a really like Easter egg vibe. The patterns of this stencil look like some of the patterns that you see when you look at images of Easter eggs, and like what you would do when you would dye Easter eggs. And these are the colors that I feel like that I used to use when I used to dye eggs when I was a kid. And so you'll actually notice here, I went a little heavy with the yellow. I felt like I did way too much of the yellow stripes. So you see here I'm going a little less heavy handed. For one, because I completely destroyed the dauber. Like, it was so like messed up when I used the yellow, the stencil just ate it. So I'm going a little more gentle and patting it more than rubbing it when I did the green. And it was really cool too because I'm not cleaning off the stencil in between colors, so I'm getting this nice blend, and the yellow and the green mix to kind of make it almost like a lime and a neon. And so you'll see here, like I said, I used a little too much of the yellow and I felt like it was too much, so I wanted to break it up with a little bit of the blue and some polka dots, and I felt like it did kind of break up that big chunk of yellow. So now I'm just going around the edges with kind of a corally pink. I don't remember all the names of the distress inks off the top of my head, but I can list them in the description box if you'd like. And here I actually decided that doing a trifold would be too much for the video, because I didn't want the video to be super long. And so I took off the inside flap and just made it into like a tag booklet. And with the edging, I'm being really messy, and I'm not really caring about having like splotches, because again, I'm kind of going for that egg dye effect. And anyone who has kids or remembers dyeing eggs as a kid, you know that it is a super messy process. And so the kit I'm using, like my focal kit, is actually this little mini creepy spring kit from Priscilla. It's actually going to be the kit we're going to use for our May design team projects. And for a minute, I actually considered having this as my design team project and just doing it early, but I didn't use enough of the kit to feel comfortable saying this was my project. But I still wanted to use it as a focal point because she has some pretty images as usual. Priscilla always uses gorgeous images, and it really worked with kind of the vibe I wanted to go for. So I picked out this one piece that has these beautiful yellow daffodils, and I'm taking some papers from these papers are from a kit from a Whimsical Adventure. It's their summer kit, but the colors worked really well with the images from the kit from Priscilla. Um, so I thought they really popped well, and they looked like spring Easter colors to me. They were bright pinks and pale blues, yellows, things like that. And then there's also a couple neutral. And then I have this ledger paper from Ephemeris Vintage Garden that I'm also using. So you see me, I'm agonizing over this little piece of collage because I like the blue, but I felt like there needed to be more behind those daffodils, and I decided that it was because I wanted more of that blue. I didn't have enough, and I wanted to kind of extend it, like almost frame the daffodils in that blue. And this blue, it almost looks black on camera, but it's like this beautiful, like deep navy blue, and it's a gorgeous kit. I'll make sure to link it along with all of the other kits that I'm using in the description box below. So yeah, so with this project, I wanted to do something super quick, something super simple, and something that wasn't very stressful. And for me, collaging is very fun, very relaxing. It's not something that I really stress over, although you will see I start to kind of like get a little crazy and rushed towards the end, just because I'm trying to finish with before my phone cut out, and I didn't quite succeed. I was like in the middle of putting on the last piece when my phone cut out. But yeah, I really like collages. They really relax me, and right now I'm just trying to do as much as I can that's just very relaxing and not very stressful. So up here at the top, I really feel like there needs to be something else, but I'm not quite sure what. I just feel like the collage is not finished, but then also at the same time, I didn't want to cover up all of the stenciling. Like, I was okay with covering up some of the stenciling because the stenciling is more of a background for the collages, in case there's bits and pieces that show, but I didn't want to cover up all of it because I did like how the stenciling came out. So I decided that this little centipede that I would put on the back instead of trying to add it to the front, and I figured that I would come back to the front later if I decided that it needed something. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed it, and I'm really happy with what I ended up coming up with, and now I've got to just make a journal for it to go in. But I have a couple of spring journals planned, so that won't be too bad, or too hard. So yeah, I hope everybody's doing okay. We're trying to stay as sane and active right now as we can. I will admit I'm going kind of a little bit stir crazy. Got a little bit of cabin fever right now because I'm in the house all day. So I'm trying to find things to do to kind of, I don't know, just kind of break up the monotony. Yeah, so right here, I was going to use one of those Tracy Fox tags, but I just didn't like the look of the one I picked out, and I didn't see any others that struck my fancy. So I remembered I had all of these elements from Tsunami Rose. This is her Charming Fragments kit, and all of the colors really fit with the style of the tag that I was going for, because again, I just felt like this needed something more, and I found this one. It says March 1906, and I just thought it was perfect because March, the first day of spring, happens in March, so like that just fit perfectly. And the filigree was very vintage, and I don't know, it was a perfect thing. And so now I'm trying to find one to go towards the top, because I still feel like the top needs something, but I'm still not quite sure about it. So I did find this little sticker, or piece that says "You belong in the flowers," and I thought it worked really well with this little centipede, because he's kind of like crawling around in the flowers. And so again, trying to find that piece to go on the front. So I just kind of leave it, and I decide I'm going to do the collages for the middle, and I'm going to use this green piece at the bottom because the colors worked a little bit better for what I was going for than the colors of the other ones. And so first I tear out the piece, and if I remember, the quote says something like, "You are unusually," I don't know, I can't remember it real quick. "You are an unearthly thing." That's what it says. It's a quote that says like, "You are an unearthly thing." There's a picture at the very end of the video of it, more like a up close picture, so you can see it a lot better in the picture. But yeah, I'm just going through the same process, tearing up the pieces, just trying to let the pieces dictate and trying to stay out of my head, because I was trying to use that pink, because it was a beautiful like cherry blossom design, and I really wanted to use it somewhere, but it was too much for this piece that I'm using right now, because the piece had a really big portion of pink in it, and it just kind of drowned the whole collage out, and it was just too much pink. So, but yeah, so the time of recording, it is April 10th, and so the video will actually go up today at 3 o'clock. So I'm, as usual, recording at last minute. I actually recorded the video last night, but it was funny. I had not intended this to be a voiceover video, and about halfway through the video, I just kind of stopped talking. I just got so focused in the collage and the work that I completely forgot that like I was filming, and so I stopped talking. And so I didn't really have enough audio or good audio from when I was talking to warrant keeping that in, so I just cut it all out and decided that I would do a voiceover, which is fine. I've been thinking about trying to do voiceovers, that way when I am recording I'm not having to stumble over my words and try to balance working and talking. I can just worry about doing the project, and then later I can go back in and chat and talk with y'all. So this last bit, I realized that I didn't like just leaving the top of these blank, and I wanted to have some journaling space. So I decided that I was going to take some of the ledger paper and just do a big chunk and kind of merge that into the collage, where it kind of seemed like it was a part of the design in the first place. And at first I thought it was going to look really out of place, and you were going to be able to tell that it was like not meant to be, and it was a last minute thing. But I used a couple more of the pieces from the Charming Fragments kit, and it does kind of blend it all together really well and makes it look a lot less just thrown together. And I do apologize for being off camera. I'm still working on like being able to tell where my frame is on my craft surface and making sure to stay within that frame. So you'll see a couple times I realize it and I'll push it back into frame, but then I get so engrossed in my work that I forget it again. And so yeah, so now I'm doing this little measuring tape piece right there to kind of be the part that kind of seams it together. And I was looking and I had that crafter heart out, which I really loved originally, but now it just kind of looked out of place because that measuring tape piece kind of covers it up a bit, and so it really did look like it was not finished. And so I found this little 60-cent piece and the colors work, and when I added that on top of it, it actually made it seem perfect. And here's that little piece that I needed. And so that's my Spring Hop 2020 project. And here's some little up close pictures and videos of the final product. I hope you like them. And make sure to check the description box to see who is next in the hop. And I want to thank you all for your love and support. I hope you're all staying safe and healthy and maintaining your social distance. And I just want to say I love you. And I hope you all have a great day. And blessed be.